Sorry. What's going on, folks? So, welcome to my first live box break. I'm going to be opening a 1990-91 NBA Skybox basketball cards. I used to open these when I was a kid. Uh, just, I really like it, enjoy opening these up. Obviously, the most popular card is going to be Michael Jordan. So we're just gonna open this up, have a little bit of fun, and see where we go. I opened up one of these a few weeks ago. I posted a video on my channel. I think I got 2 or 3 Jordan. Another card that's pretty popular out of this box is Drazen Petrovic, as well as Sean Kemp rookie card. So we'll go ahead and look for those as well. So that's pretty cool. Oh, this box looks like the glue kind of fell off here. So we'll just open things off to the side. I think there's 36 packs in this whole box, so we'll just trying to yank these out of here without hurting the cards. So the glue is strong on one side and very weak on the other, so that's quite humorous. So we'll try to keep it even here. I like things keeping even for the most part. It doesn't have to be. Alright, so like I said, 36 packs. We'll give it a shot and see what we get. So these packs aren't like the upper deck where they break open easily. Alright, let's see how we start things off. We have a Derek Gervin, Jerry Reynolds, Hershey Hawkins, Willie Anderson, Adrian Dantley, Patrick Ewing. Put that off to the side. Brad Sellers, Michael Williams, Manute Bol, Thurl Bailey, Anthony Bowie, Jack Sikma, J.R. Reed, Billy Thompson, and Todd Murphy. Looks like we have a Karl Malone here at the bottom. I think he was filming a movie. Couldn't tell you the name of the movie. Rick Mahorn, B.J. Armstrong, Jim Peterson. Hold my hand up a little bit closer. Mike Brown, Adrian Caldwell, Mark Jackson, Scottie Pippen. With Patrick Ewing there. Greg Anderson, Sidney Lowe, Antoine Carr, Dale Ellis, Eddie Lee Wilkins, Rod Higgins, and Robert Reed, and Karl Malone, as we kind of knew from before. There's a potential. I think there is an error card. I think it's, well, if I come across the guy, I'll make sure to say. Winston Bennett, Irvin Magic Johnson, Steve Kerr, Brian Rossum, Kenny Smith, Mike Sanders, Mike McGee, Larry Drew, Bernard King, John Sundvold, Johnny Newman, Mark Olari, Lester Connor, Sidney Green, and Mike Jaminski. Alright, Pete Myers, Ron Anderson, Jeff Hornacek, Johnny Moore, Randy White, Kevin McHale. And then we have John Paxson, Sarunas Marciulionis, Bobby Hansen, Larry Smith, Bill Laimbeer, Isaiah Thomas, Larry Krystkowiak, and finally Tony Campbell. Alright, Brad Lohas, Michael Ansley, Will Perdue, Purvis Short, Scott Brooks, Eddie Johnson, Zanko Paspalj, Herb Williams, Chris Mullen, Bill Cartwright, Mike Smrek, Eric Johnson, Ricky Green, and Tim Hardaway. It might be coming up to a Jordan here. I have that feeling. Alright, Vinny Del Negro, Steve Johnson, Kiki Vanderway, Vern Fleming, Charles Jones, David Robinson, Walter Davis, Armin Gilliam, Alexander Volkov, Tom Garrick, Wayne Cooper, Orlando Woolbridge, Terry Porter, Jeff Grayer, and Gerald Wilkins. Alright, Bill Hanslick, Jim Paxson, John Battle, Winston Garland, Mark West, Michael Thompson, Akeem Olajuwon, awesome, Ben Coleman, Kenny Walker, Harvey Grant, Roy Henson, Otis Smith, Bob Thornton, Frank Brickowski, and Anthony Jones. And our final pack for the first stack. Alright, Wayman Tisdale, Steve Alford, Jeff Malone, Mark Price, Michael Holton, Vinnie Johnson, Sadale Threet, Kevin Upshaw, Mark Bryant, Mitch Richmond, John Sundvold, Donald Royal, Purvis Ellison, Sean Kemp. We got our first big card of this opening. We have a Sean Kemp rookie card. That is awesome. I know he had a little bit of a altercation out there in Tacoma. I think it was this week or this past week, but we'll still like his rookie card anyway. So, in our first stack, we got a Sean Kemp rookie card. I can live with that. I think I got this pack for about between $30 and $40 on eBay. I bought a lot of 3 or 4 of them at the time, so pretty decent price. I mean, altogether it was for the 3 or 4 of them, it was less than $100, so it was pretty cool. Scott Hafner, Tyrone Corbin, Rodney McRae, Derek McKee, Frank Cornett, Moses Malone, Grant Long, Jerome Richardson, David Greenwood, Brad Davis, Reggie Lewis, Jeff Martin, Jerome Kersey, Tellis Frank, and James Worthy. Okay, Billy Thompson, Todd Murphy, Vinny Del Negro, Steve Johnson, Kiki Vanderway, Vern Fleming, Charles Jones, David Robinson again, Walter Davis, Armand Gilliam, Alexander Volkov, Tom Garrick, Wayne Cooper, Orlando Woolridge, and Terry Porter. So I think that entire pack was all doubles. Alright, Greg Grant, Caldwell Jones, Bill Wennington, Xavier McDaniel, Dave Hoppin, Scott Hastings, Darrell Griffith, Vernon Maxwell, Dan Shays, Reggie Theus, Jay Humphreys, Fred Roberts, Danny Young, and Dana Barros. Sam Mitchell, Greg Kite, Danny Ferry, Rory Sparrow, Dwayne Farrell, John Sally, Kevin Johnson, Gerald Henderson, Brad Doherty, Dennis Johnson, Ron Harper, Byron Irvin, Sherman Douglas, Alvin Robertson, and Larry Kristowiak. I used to watch a lot of NBA back in the day. I was always either watching or playing basketball. Sam Perkins, Charles Oakley, Scott Hafner, Tyrone Corbin, Rodney McRae, Derek McKee, Frank Cornett, Moses Malone, Grant Long, Jerome Richardson, David Greenwood, Brad Davis, Reggie Lewis, Jeff Martin, and Jerome Kersey. We're well into our doubles, but this brings back a lot of awesome memories as a kid. Brian Quinnett, Steve Coulter, Derek Gervin, Jerry Reynolds, Hershey Hawkins, Willie Anderson, Adrian Dantley, Patrick Ewing again, Brad Sellers, Michael Williams, Manute Bol, Thurl Bailey, Anthony Bowie, Jack Sikma, and J.R. Reed. So we're definitely hit the doubles multiple times here. It's a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Kind of chill here on the outskirts of Atlanta. James Donaldson, Mark Eaton, Rick Mahorn, B.J. Armstrong, Jim Peterson, Mike Brown, Adrian Caldwell, Mark Jackson, Scottie Pippen, Greg Anderson, Sidney Lowe, Antoine Carr, Dale Ellis, Ernie Lee Wilkins, and Rod Higgins. This is so incredibly easy to open. This is way better than, I forget who it was. I think it was the first Upper Deck pack. I opened that up a couple of weeks ago, and golly, I had to use scissors to open that up. Blair Rasmussen, Rick Smits, Winston Bennett, Irvin Magic Johnson again, Steve Kerr, Brian Rossum, Kenny Smith, Mike Sanders, Mike McGee, Larry Drew, Bernard King, John Sundvold, Johnny Newman, Mark Alari, and Lester Connor. So we've gotten a bunch of doubles, but still no Michael Jordan. We might get another Sean Kemp before we get our first Jordan. Alright, Nick Anderson, John Williams, Pete Myers, Ron Anderson, Jeff Hornacek, Johnny Moore, Randy White, Kevin McHale, John Paxson, Sharunas Marshallonis, Bobby Hansen, Larry Smith, Bill Laimbeer, and Isaiah Thomas of the Bad Boys. I know those guys are Hall of Famers, but I was not a fan of the Pistons. I was a huge fan of the Lakers growing up. Tellis Frank, James Worthy, Brad Lohaus, Michael Ansley, Will Perdue, Purvis Short, Scott Brooks, Eddie Johnson, Zarko Paspalj again, Herb Williams, Chris Mullen, Bill Cartwright, Mike Smrek, and Eddie Johnson. Man, they had my hopes up. I thought we might get a Jordan there. We're halfway through the box here, so maybe in the second half we will get a Michael Jordan. Alright, Cliff Robinson, David Wingate, Todd Lichty, Mitchell Wiggins, Ken Norman, Dennis Rodman. I actually keep him. He was a good player. Tim Kempton, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, Glenn Rivers, Dyron Nix. Now, there was an error card with him, but I don't think that one's it. Dan Marley, Vlade Divac, Joe Dumars, Ed Neely, and Stuart Gray. So a few different cards here on this half, so we might get a nice surprise. At least let's hope so. Alright, Dominique Wilkins, Brad Lohaus, Paul Pressey, Drazen Petrovic. I like that card. Rod Strickland, Lafayette Lever, Otis Thorpe, Del Curry, Michael Jordan. There we go, Michael Jordan. Let's take a look at that card. Man, that's looking kind of nice. Not seeing any markings. Corners are looking good. So yeah, I think we have our... We'll put that one in the sleeve right here. So that one looks like it's going to be part of the grading. That is awesome. Alright, Chucky Brown, Michael Smith, Cliff Livingston, George McLeod, Andrew Lang, and Joe Wolf. So we'll look for Del Curry. That is possibly the leader to Michael Jordan. That is absolutely awesome. Let's see if we can get another one before we finish out this box here. Alright, Tom Hammonds, Dennis Hobson, Horace Grant, Jeff Turner, Sean Elliott, Roy Tarpley, Tom Chambers, Richard Anderson, James Edwards, Jeff Sanders, Buck Johnson, Alex English, John Stockton, and Jeff Grayer. Alright, Terry Cummings, Spud Webb, William Bedford, Michael Adams, Eric Floyd, Derek Harper, Chuck Person, Ben Coleman, Randy Brewer, Randy Allen, Quentin Daly, Craig Hodges, Ed Pickney, and Kevin Edwards. I think a good Jordan is going for about $100 at the moment. So let's hope this one will be submitted to be graded. LaSalle Thompson, Michael Cooper, Clyde Drexler, Joe Barry Carroll, Mikey Tripucka, Kevin Willis, Gary Grant, Kevin Duckworth, Terry Davis, Buck Williams, Jay Humphreys, Mark Akers, Darrell Walker, Chris Morris, and Sam Vincent. Alright, Delaney Rudd, Sam Bowie, Dave Corzine, Johnny Dawkins, Ralph Sampson, John Morton, Larry Bird, the Birdman, Craig Elo, Brian Shaw, Mark Aguirre, Olden Polynice, Tom Tobert, Theodore Edwards, Robert Parrish, and Ed Neely. Man, I see a lot of videos where they talk about all the trash talking Larry Bird did. And I'll tell you what, there's a show out there called Showtime. And man, they make the most entertaining character in that whole show is Larry Bird. He's not on there for very often, but when he is, I enjoy the hell out of it. Rolando Blackman, Scott Hafner, Maurice Cheeks, Eric Lechner, Mookie Blaylock, Terry Ketledge, Leonard Copeland, Harold Presley, Paul Mokeski, and Charles Barkley, Rex Chapman, John Long, Jerome Lane, Nate McMillan, and Terry Teagle. Yeah, but back to what I was saying, they make Larry Bird to look like this country beer drinking, cha chewing country guy, which who knows, he probably was, but he had no problem talking smack. Alright, Charles Smith, Danny Ainge, Michael Cage, John Konkak, Joe Klein, Byron Scott, Ronnie Seekley, Larry Nance, Stacy King, John Bagley, Detlef Schrempf, Tim Perry, A.C. Green, Danny Manning, and Billy Thompson. Alright, Ricky Pierce, Wayne Rollins, John Williams, Kevin Gamble, Benoit Benjamin, Kurt Rambis, Mark McNamara, Reggie Miller. Greg Anderson, Trent Tucker, Liddell Eccles, Jack Haley, Scott Skiles, Derek Smith, and Ublob. Heck of a name there. Or maybe it was Ublob. I'm not sure, but happy. Alright, we're down to our last deck. We got one Michael Jordan and one Sean Kemp and a bunch of other greats. So let's see what we get. Any more good ones. We did get 2 Magic Johnsons, so that's pretty cool. Alright, Robert Reed, Karl Malone, Bill Hanslick, Jim Paxson, John Battle, Winston Garland, Mark West, Michael Thompson, Akeem Olajuwon, Ben Coleman, Kenny Walker, Harvey Grant, Roy Hinson, Otis Smith, and Bob Thornton. Alright, Sidney Green, Mike Jaminski, Wayman Tisdale, Steve Alford, Jeff Malone, Mark Price, Michael Holton, Finney Johnson, Sedale Threet, Kevin Upshaw, Mark Bryant, Mitch Richmond, John Sundvold, and the last 2 are Donald Royal and Purvis Ellison. Alright, Larry Kristowiak, Tony Campbell, Cliff Robinson, David Wingate, Ty Lichty, Mitchell Wiggins, Ken Norman, Dennis Rodman, Tim Kempton, Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, Glenn Rivers, Dyron Nix, and that's not an error card, Dan Marley, Vlade Divac, and Joe Dumars. I think the error with Dyron Nix is it shows him on the front end. I think Wayman Tisdale on the back. At least that's what I read somewhere. So I always keep a lookout. Alright, Ricky Green, Tim Hardaway, Dominique Wilkins, Vlad Lohaus, Paul Pressey, Drazen Petrovic, Rod Strickland, Lafayette Lever. Ooh, Otis Thorpe. Will we get a Jordan in this pack? Del Curry. And Michael Jordan. We got our second Michael Jordan, folks. Chucky Brown, Michael Smith, Cliff Livingston, and George McLeod. So yes, Lafayette Lever and Del Curry seem to be the leaders for Michael Jordan. Let's take a look at this. This one's looking pretty good as well. Both front and back. I don't see any issues. So that's awesome. We have 2 Michael Jordans from this box, which is making the purchase that much more worthwhile. If both of those come back as PSA 10s, one of those will make the purchase of all 3 boxes worthwhile. That is quite awesome. Alright. Jeff Grayer, Gerald Wilkins, Tom Hammonds, Dennis Hobson, Horace Grant again, Jeff Turner, Sean Elliott, Roy Typley, Tom Chambers, Richard Anderson, James Edwards, Jeff Saunders, Buck Johnson, and Alex English. I think that's the first Alex English. I think he was in a movie called Amazing Grace and Chuck. Interesting movie. It was a long time ago. I think I saw that movie in the mid-'80s. So I couldn't really tell you what it's about. Alright, Frank Pikowski, Anthony Jones, Terry Cummings, Anthony Webb, William Bedford, Michael Adams, Eric Floyd. Wasn't that like Sleepy Floyd or something? He went by that name. Derek Harper, Chuck Person, Ben Coleman, Randy Brewer, Randy Allen, Quentin Daly, and Craig Hodges. So since we kind of know who are the precursors to getting a Michael Jordan, it's hard to get excited when you don't see those beforehand. But you know what? We'll do our best. We have 3 packs to go. Maybe we'll get another Shawn Kemp. Yep, there we go. We got another Shawn Kemp. All right. That is not a Jordan, but we'll take it. That one's looking pretty good too. The corners are sharp. I don't see any markings. So we'll go ahead and put him in a penny sleeve right here. We'll take a quick look at the other one. That was, oh, it's got a little, okay, it had a little dust on it or something. So that was looking pretty good too. Let me pull out the penny sleeves. So we have 2 Michael Jordans and 2 Shawn Kemps. That is absolutely phenomenal. All right, we have a Glenn Rice, LaSalle Thompson, Michael Cooper, Clyde Drexler, Joe Barry Carroll, Kelly Tripucka, Calvin Willis, Gary Grant, Kevin Duckworth, Terry Davis, Buck Williams, Jay Humphreys, Mark Akers, and Darrell Walker. So yes, this was a very, very successful break. All right, Ed Neely, Stuart Gray, Delaney Rudd, Sam Bowie, Dave Corzine, Johnny Dawkins, Ralph Sampson, John Morton, Larry Bird again, Craig Elo, Brian Shaw, Mark Aguirre, Olden Polynice, Tom Tolbert, and Theodore Edwards. And for our last pack, just below the 30-minute mark, I'm not expecting too much, but you never know. All right, Andrew Lang, Joe Wolf, Rolando Blackman, Scott Hafner, Maurice Cheeks, Eric Lechner, Mookie Blaylock, Terry Catledge, Leonard Copeland, Harold Presley, Paul McKeskey, Charles Barkley, that's a nice surprise, Rex Chapman, John Long, and Jerome Lane. So that is it for our initial live stream of the 1990-91 NBA season Skybox inaugural season. We pulled out 2 Michael Jordans, 2 Shawn Kemps. All these cards were in excellent shape. I don't think I saw a single one that had a single ding or really anything wrong with them. The packs opened up crisp. Everything looked very well. So with these and some of these other ones, I will definitely have a look at them and see if they're good for grading. But all in all, I couldn't ask for a better box break, because some of the other ones I've opened, one of the previous boxes of the Series 1, some of the cards had some dings, had some printing errors, whereas this one, not seeing any issues at all. So this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, that's it. If if you happen to catch this video at a later time, thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of these, hit that like button, and you can also subscribe. I will probably do this again next week, Sunday afternoon / evening. I'm going to try and do this about once a week or so, depending on how the feedback is. I'm trying to just publish a video once a week, so there might be some overlap here, but I didn't have very much to do this afternoon, so I wanted to do a box break. And hey, next week, feel free to join in. Keep a lookout for me. Like I said, I'm going to try and do this every week, but depending on what's going on, I will be out of town for the first part of the weekend, but I should be back by Sunday evening sometime. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys